What's up, everybody? My name is Philip, and welcome to the Bad Cigarette Podcast. Today I'm gonna talk about different things, but let me drink water first. Okay. Hi, my name is Philip. Welcome to the Bad Cigarette Podcast. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and so you don't miss out anything that I post. I'm. It's crazy because I feel like I have a lot of things going on. I'm kind of still in school, but I've graduated at the same time, so I'm just going back to school for some kind of practice for something specific that I'm about to get into, that I'm trying to get into. But also, I paint, as you can see in the back here. I have other paintings here. That is called the Riches and Roaches, and I have this one that I have not finished. Boom, 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 boom. But anyways, uh, thank you so much for tuning in. But before we get started, this is just a podcast where I feel like we can anybody or me or anybody in general can talk about anything. So even if I just spoke about paintings and art and stuff like that, I want to get into books and also how I want to say how I started reading books. I don't read books now, I'll be honest, but like last year I used to read, and I used to try to read more often, sometimes more often than I really want to, because I had this idea in mind that reading is good, which is, I wasn't wrong. Reading is really good for you. But yeah, so at some point in my freshman year in high school, we started reading this book. It's called the Odyssey. It's a kind of like it's not a mythical story, but I think it is, or it's something that happened a very long time ago. I don't know why I thought about that. It's just that my camera is standing like on a book, and when I saw that book, I just remembered the first time I started reading books, and that was the first time. That was the first book that I ever read, and I think it's my favorite now, and it still is. And I have a copy of that book here, and also I have a copy of other books, like Born a Crime by Noah. Uh, yeah, Born a Crime by Noah, Trevor Noah. Sorry, I was trying to remember his last name. But anyways, yeah. Uh, and again, welcome. It's Philip, and this is the Bad Cigarette Podcast. I want to talk about swimming, bro. So like for the past like I want to say 3 months, I've been finding myself in close to water a lot. No beaches, no nothing like that. I live in a place where there's a lot of water. I mean, I live in Tennessee. Literally, you can drive 30 minutes. I feel like 30 minutes towards the mountain or 30 minutes anywhere, and you find a body of water where you can swim. So me and my friends have been going swimming a lot, especially the last time we went swimming was the last day of school, the official last day of school, and it was one of the funniest day ever. There's this thing that we found out that we kept doing, and that is like we every single time we get to the water, we would look around and find like a huge piece of tree, like big, 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 and then it's usually something dry, like a tree that's dry. We don't cut down any trees or anything like that, and then we just get that tree. It's like six of us, and then grab that tree. Sometimes it's so heavy for us to like lift, so we'll grab other small sticks and then like try to like put that stick under that big tree and then lift it. Almost like logging or cutting big logs of trees to make some kind of lumber or anything like that. Push it to the water, and then once you get to the water, and once it gets inside of the water where it's deep enough, we'll all just like literally jump on top of that tree and start like pushing like it's some kind of canoe or some kind of boat, you know. And like we would get to the deep end, like the place where it's so deep inside of the water or inside of the lake, to the point where we wouldn't have any choice but to stay on that wobbly piece of log. Sometimes it's like so shaky, you can literally fall off, and if you can't swim, then that's the end of you. So we would stay on the log, and then we would like try to see how far we can go out, like farther from the deck or the deck or whatever, before we actually decide to like be like, you know what, it would be a good idea if we just went back and sit down and then just enjoy the water the way it is, you know. And so that has been so fun. I don't know, I'll probably have some chance to do it since we graduated. We'll probably have some chance to do it more at some point, but it's not gonna happen very often. And like, one thing that's so crazy about it is that it's dangerous for sure. And the fact that, I mean, I got hurt a little bit, you know, something scratched me and I had a small wound and something like that. But I feel like there's something about guys that's just different, you know? Because I don't think that if it was girls going to that lake, I don't think that they could have done what we did. I'm not saying that they're not able to. They can do it. They have all the strength and all the power and all the brain to do it. But like, I don't think they could have done it because I feel like it will not be fun for them. You know, like after I did it, I came home and told my girlfriend about it and also showed her pictures. She didn't seem excited. I was like, this girl is, I was like, you don't understand how fun this was. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you go somewhere with your boys, find some big piece of tree, push it into the lake, and then start riding it. Guys, oh, it was so fun, but I feel like she didn't understand it. And that led me to thinking that if it was her and her friends, they wouldn't have done it because I guess to them it's not fun. You know, I understand. I don't know why, but you know, boys and girls are kind of made different, you know. But I had so much fun, and literally, I will always do that every single time I find myself in water. Like, if I can, I will do it. You know what I mean? I'll do it, and I'll do it, and I'll do it again and again and again. Let me also talk about painting. As much as I've been hanging out with my friends, I've also been painting a lot. You know, I showed you guys my paintings earlier. Some of them, I have other ones in the back there, but yeah, I've been focusing on painting a lot, and it's very therapeutic for me, and I've been enjoying it, and I've been enjoying talking to people about my paintings and the process that I basically where I get my ideas and how I do it. But one thing that has been happening is that every single time I show somebody my painting, they're saying that it looks like Jean Michel Basquiat's paintings, and I get it. I get a lot of inspiration from him. And he's like, out of all the artists in the world, out of everybody, at least as far as I know in my brain, he is my favorite of all the favorite. He's like my hero when it comes to canvas, paint, and color, and style, and everything. You know, but I read a lot about him. I looked at his biography, the way he paints, his processes, the things he went through as a painter, the things he went through as a young person, as a like an African American during that time, back in the 90s, where kind of like racism was still very big. Even if he lived in somewhere like New York, like New York is not like some parts of New York or the New York side of the United States is not as racist as the South, where at least I live, you know. So he like you would expect racism to be more in the South than it is like somewhere like New York, but back then I feel like it was a different story. Oh yeah, back then it was a different story. So he faced a lot of racism and stuff like that, but still he managed to like go through that and still be one of the best artists to ever exist, you know. And so I read about that and followed that, and just his childhood, his family, and how he came up to be, and how he ended up how he was. So I used to like look at his paintings when I'm painting my paintings at some point. But before that, I just had my own painting artist kind of kind of style, but like I just don't know. I just feel like he I have a lot of influence from him. I'll say that I have a lot of influence from him, and most of my paintings just look they don't look like his all the way, but just a lot of influence is from him. So just like from him, and then like just myself. Like I'm not him. I can never be him, and I can never try to be him because I'm me. I'm Philip, and I cannot be somebody else, and I cannot try to be somebody else. It's just that every single time I show somebody my paintings, they say, "Oh, that looks like it looks like me, Jean Michel Basquiat," and sometimes they don't know that I know him, so they ask me, "Oh, who's your favorite painter?" And I say, "Oh, my name is Michel Basquiat," and it's like, "Oh yeah, I noticed that because that looks like nice. It looks almost like his, you know." And I appreciate that a lot because imagine being compared to like one of the best and the best painters out there to ever exist. You know what I mean? It's like it's very honorable and stuff like that. But one thing I just wouldn't like is to be looked at as somebody that's trying to be someone that I'm not be, but that I'm not. And that is not my goal, and that's not how I would like it to be. But anyways, so yeah, I've just been painting and just working in my room. Uh, Something weird that I've noticed too is that the more unorganized my room is, the more creative I feel when it comes to painting. You know what I mean? Literally, like if I stand in front of books, bags, light, colors, water, bottles, paint, painting supplies, chairs, seats. Literally, I'm sitting right now. I am sitting on a TV stand because why not? You know, it just I feel like it keeps me kind of creative, and there's a lot of things in front of me, and I can take inspiration from all those things. And I feel like that's just how kind of like I work. And sometimes I look through a book before I start painting. You know, I don't get a lot of inspiration from outside, like outside of the house. I get inspiration from like life, uh, objects and words, like literally just words. I remember at some point I was so obsessed with the word innocence and the word sorrow, which is kind of like a dark word because it means like literally like a deep, deep, deep feeling of sadness. So I was kind of like obsessed with that, and I'm not very obsessed with it now, but I still like it. Sorrow. It's like a very small word, but it can go very, 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 very deep. From like what it means in general, what it means to me, what it means to other people, how it makes me feel. Am I the only one that likes it? Do other people like it? What can I like? If I was to put it in words, if I was to summarize it in my own way, apart from the dictionary way or the traditional way of like summarizing the word sorrow, what can I say? Or like, yeah, what kind of words can I use? What color can I use describing that word? Uh, like so many things. So I don't when I look outside, I see houses, cars, and I see green, which is plants, houses, cars, and people. And then like sometimes when I go to like a gas station and I see somebody, for example, like a drug addict, they're like usually at the gas station at some point. When I go there, I see the person, and I don't when I see them, I just kind of like grab them in my mind, and I see them as a not like as a whole society, but I just see them on a bigger kind of like a bigger point of view and how they make me feel and what I think of what's going on, not only just to them but to somebody like them, somebody else that's like them, and then compare that to society, and then try to like feel what they might feel or what they can be feeling at the moment, and then try to register that in my mind so that when I get home, maybe I can paint something about that. So that's kind of like how I work. I rarely paint about happiness, like rarely. And I don't know. It's not like I don't want to do it. It's just that, man, personally, I feel like there's not a lot of happiness out there. And most of the happiness that we see is made up. Go on the internet. Look at people. They look happy. But like just go in their personal lives and see if they're happy. I don't think most of them are not. Most people are dealing with like jobs that they don't like, not making enough money to make ends meet. Most of them have done some mistakes that they're still dealing with. Food is hard to get. Mental health is literally at its peak. People are not happy. People are dealing with most people are just staying inside. And what else? There's like so many bad things happening. Some people find themselves in situations where they cannot avoid, like they could not have avoided. Or some people did something that they thought was the right thing. It turns out it was the wrong thing. Like let's say you got a car loan, and you later found out that your insurance is gonna be way more than you expected, and now you're kind of stuck with a car that you cannot afford to drive, but you have to drive because the car is kind of like you're making payments on it, and you have to have full coverage insurance and other things that are just bothering people in general. As I say, depression, and also getting kind of like stuck on our phones too. It's kind of like a big thing that I think about a lot, So I tend to get my inspiration from just life in general. I'm not a fan. I don't describe myself. I don't want to describe myself as a fine artist. But I try to like paint like one thing, just to kind of like learn how to use paint or learn how to work with colors and shades and contrast, and just like kind of like putting them together to make one thing. But that's also how they used to like teach me how to paint, or in art class they just give us like one thing to paint or one topic to paint about. And for the longest I just knew that was not my style. I paint a lot of different things on one painting, like on one canvas. Some of the things that you see on one canvas on my paintings are not related. It's not one topic on one painting. I can when I'm titling, or when I'm giving my painting a title, I give them the title of where the inspiration came from. I don't say, oh, this whole painting is about feeling lost. Oh, this whole painting is about feeling so much pain on one of your foot to the point where you don't even remember how it's like to not feel pain. Like let's say feeling sad, or feeling like you're not seen, was the first idea that came to mind. I'm most likely to like title that painting "Seen but Not Seen," something like that. Something just okay. So like "Seen but Not Seen," or or like loud butterflies or something like that. I don't know, just something random that has to do with that personally communicates to me that or describe that is described as somebody that's seen but they're not seen. They're there but not seen. Something like that. And then the rest of the painting will be about other things that either happened or that I thought about a lot too much to the point where when you think about one thing too many times, it can turn into something else. It could be something I thought about and it got deeper and turned into something else, or it could be something just in general. Life in general, food, depression, smells, past, present, anything. It could be anything, and then I'll just put that on. Like I'll put all that on a painting, and then the name of the painting will be the first idea that ever came to mind when I grabbed a brush that was wet with paint and decided to layer it or to put it on a canvas. That's kind of like how I do with my. That's kind of like what I do with my paintings, and this has helped me with kind of like putting all my feelings on one canvas. Because as I said earlier, painting is one of the ways that I personally feel like I can go to and then write everything. It's like I describe them as my diary. I just pour my feelings in there, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, and what's going on personally most of the time in my personal life. And then I try to see if there's other people that might be going through the same thing, and then I include them too in there. So that's kind of like how it works for me. And there's no everything on a painting is something of its own, but they all are connected somehow, just a little bit, or they're just connected by the fact that they are all painted by the exact same person, which is me. But yeah, most of the things are things of their own, but they're made by one person, one brain, one heart, one different feelings. So yeah, having so many things on one painting kind of like helps me with putting all my feelings in one thing, taking all my feelings off of my chest and then just putting them on a canvas. Let's say, for example, I was feeling tired of a habit something that I was doing that is bad for me and other people, but I've been doing it over and over again when I know for a fact that it's something I need to stop doing. And then like we don't only have one bad habit. Some people, for me, one of the bad habits that I've acquired in the past like 1 month or two is being kind of lazy, waking up late. Bro, just waking up late, painting now before I even wash my face, bro. Sometimes, so that's one of the bad habits I've been acquiring, and also waiting until last minute to go and get gas for my car. So if I'm dealing with all of that, I don't want to just paint some kind of just one thing. Let's say like one picture, and hopefully I can put every feeling into that picture, or trying to like paint, let's say like a human, let's say a self-portrait, and trying to put all those feelings in that one self-portrait. It's kind of hard for me personally. There's a lot of artists, there's some kids that I went to school with that are very, very, very good at doing that, but it's just not my thing. My brain doesn't work like that, and it's really hard for me to do. Like I try to do it. I used to try and do it, but as soon as I found out that it wasn't my thing, and like me trying really, really hard to like do something like that was taking up time for me to do something that is actually my kind of art. I just kind of like stopped doing that and then went straight to what I felt like was my style of painting, and that's kind of what I do now. It's chill, it's relaxing, and I enjoy it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just read somewhere that the astronauts who were stuck in space because they had some kind of problems with the spacecraft that took them there. I just learned that they started hearing some kind of noises banging on the nani or whatever ship that not a ship, the space station that they are inside of. I literally had a voice. They said that they've been hearing some kind of sound, some kind of banging sound in their ship and something like that. It's all on the internet. You can find it. And I think that's fucking scary as hell, bro. Imagine you're just a regular person. I mean, you're an engineer. You're an astronaut. Like, you have all the qualifications that it takes. You went to college. You know everything, And then, boom, you go out in space. And then you are told that there's something wrong with the spaceship. You cannot come back until... probably like they're gonna come back here on the 7th of either February, if I read that right, on the 7th of February. But if that was me, I could have been so scared, bro. That literally first thing first that happened is that boom, you cannot come back on Earth because there's something wrong with the spaceship. Okay. I feel like when they were like, all right, that's cool. It's just it's just a minor mistake. We'll be fine, right? And then, boom, now they've been there for maybe weeks. I think exactly like weeks and weeks. But now they're hearing sounds banging on their space station, and I feel like it's not banging. It's not. I don't think it's a bang. I think some kind of sound that's coming out of their radio. But yeah, they recorded this thing. I feel like I can find it. Let me try to find it because I don't want to just say things that are not quite true. So it's like it's a strange noise in space, and here's how it sounds like. This is my computer.
Houston on 2, got a question about a Starliner. Houston's with you.
This is what
Wait.
space.
So
Houston on 2, got a question about a Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker, and I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner.
So it's like a strange noise coming through the speaker in the Starliner. That's what they call it. But dude, mind you, they're in space and they've been stuck there for like, I want to say maybe 2 weeks. Since the first time I read it, it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, or even it could be more. It could be more than 2 weeks. But yeah, this is basically the update, the latest update on how they're doing and what's going on to them.
Liner, and let me keep Mike and let you hear. I don't know what's making it, but I don't know if it's something that's maybe connected between here and there, making that happen. But anyway, can you do that?
We can configure that, Butch. Give us a minute, and I'll call you back when it's ready.
Okay, I'm in Starliner. Okay, I'm gonna keep the mic up next to the speaker.
Copy.
All right, over to you. Tell us if you figure it out.
Yep, good recording. Thanks, Butch. We will pass it on to the team and let you know what we find. And Butch, just to make sure I'm on the same page, this is emanating from the speaker in Starliner. You don't notice anything else, any other noises, any other weird configs in there? Okay, thank you.
Houston on 2, got a question about Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
Yeah, dude, they're hearing some kind of noise coming from a speaker. I feel like this is not like some kind of alien on the outside of a spaceship that's like banging on the space station trying to get in. I don't think so. It's not like that. But I feel like it's some kind of technical issue, maybe with their radio call, or maybe some kind of other technical issue inside of their. I feel like this is less mechanical and more like engineering. If it was mechanical, I could have been more worried because then that's like physical and it's something literally some kind of metal that's doing something that it should not be doing. I'm very interested in mechanics or mechanical engineering and stuff like that. So I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not. I've only been to high school and I've been to trade school. But like yeah, when I was in high school, I used to be in the robotics team, and we would like make, these are not like crazy artificial intelligence robots. They'll be like mechanical robots where we can use a remote to control what they do or something like that. We would use them for for stuff like competitions, and most of the things that they would do is like grab a ball and then put it somewhere where it's supposed to be, but it's not doing it itself. We're just controlling it with a remote control, like usually the one that they use for like video games and stuff like that. So I like some mechanical stuff, and I'm not crazy about space, but when it comes to mechanical engineering and stuff like that, I like to think about that and just comment about that too, just a little bit. But I'm not saying this as an expert, talking about what's going on in space or anything like that. But I think that if I was an astronaut and I'm going to space, my spaceship fucks up and it cannot take me back on Earth, and then when I'm there, I start having some other issues, I'll be fucking scared, bro. I'll be scared. But hey, let's pray that they get back on Earth safely and stuff like that. And I think the spaceship that messed up on them will come back at some point, but it's not gonna come back with them. And when it lands back on Earth, they're gonna try to determine whether it could have been safe for them to come with it or not. But now I'm thinking, imagine if it comes back on Earth, and then once it gets here, we end up finding out that it could have been safe for them to come back with it. Boom. This would be like, oh my God, we literally miscalculated everything and we misunderstood everything or something like that. But hey, you don't want to put them in that spaceship and then send them back here and then find out that it wasn't a good idea to bring them when it's already too late. So it's a much better idea for them to stay there until it's safe for them to come back. And I pray for them. I hope their families are not like really, really, really scared and really worried and stuff like that. But yeah, I pray for them, and I believe they'll come back safe, bro. But I feel like I want to know what kind of stories they will tell when they get here. But yeah, anyways, my name is Philip, and thank you so much for watching this Bad Cigarette podcast. I feel like the majority of this podcast was more about painting and art and stuff like that than anything else. If you're not a big fan of paintings and art, just so you know, this podcast is not just for paintings and art or like music and stuff like that. It's about anything. It could be about politics, art, music, houses, grass, water, rivers, boats, and this podcast about anything that can be talked about and also can be spoken about. I'm gonna be working really hard for the coming few months. I'm not trying to promise anything, to make sure that it's possible to bring multiple people to speak on this podcast, and also or just hang out in general, so we can see how big we can make it. And again, my name is Philip. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe so we don't miss the next episode. Salute.
Hallelujah, pray for my mother and my brother, since I belong now.